Well, people say the greatest of all time, Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. They hear his name mentioned. They never mention Tim Duncan. Why is that? They talk about all the accomplishments. I mean, really, they do. They talk about all the accomplishments they got and, how many rings, MVPs, championships, and all that. People just omit Tim Duncan. Seriously. In this entire conversation, you've never heard Tim Duncan's name mentioned. Tim Duncan has 5 NBA championships. He is a 3-time Finals MVP. He has 2 MVP awards. Why nobody talking about him? That's crazy, and I don't mean just the fans. See, because I understand what the fans do, but I'm talking about the professional journalists who are paid to do this. You get paid to know this. You get paid to know better. You should know better than to omit Tim Duncan as one of the greatest players in this game. And this is what I mean by you fans. Sometimes I call y'all stupid. I don't call y'all stupid because, y'all just, it's not your fault, is what I'm saying. It's not your fault you're stupid. It's because of the information you've been receiving. You've been deceived. You're being led astray. Like Lonzo Ball, everybody knows Lonzo Ball has had a very bad season as compared to the hype that was built around Lonzo Ball. But if you really look at it, he's having a stellar year for a rookie, a 19-year-old rookie coming into the league. He's having a decent year with all the minutes he's playing. It's not, there's not like things they can't work around or improve on. Now, here's the thing though. He's got 2 triple doubles. And he's got like 5 double doubles already in the young NBA season. But he hasn't really played well at all. So what does this attribute to? He's shooting under 50% as a point guard from the free throw line. That's unheard of. Now, we look at all of that, and every day they tell you about Lonzo Ball. You don't hear about Fox. You barely hear about Tatum. They don't tell you about anybody else. Do anybody hear about Jackson? You don't hear about none of these rookies. Kuzma is out playing him, and you don't hear about him hardly. So the real issue becomes why? Because they want to build and sell you what they want. Tim Duncan is not somebody who was very vocal. So since Tim Duncan was basically not a vocal personality, they just feel, well, can't really promote him. He's too quiet. He's too laid back. His personality is not something we can promote. But he was the best player in the league. He's not colorful like Shaq. So we can't sit there and put Tim Duncan in that category, even though he is the best player in the league. So it is what it is. Spurs had a dominance with Tony Parker and a bunch of players that nobody else thought about drafting or even attempted to draft. They were the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors, meaning dominance, not how they played the game. From offense to defense to playing five to the way they designed the game to go. And that's why Kobe had such a hard time dealing with the Spurs because of the way they play basketball. You can't just go out and score 35 points and beat them. And that's what he was trying to implement to everyone in the game who'd be like, well, Kobe got 32. He had 6 assists. He had 11 rebounds. He had a great game. But then at the end of the game, they're losing by 16, 17 points. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because it's not a five, your five versus us. It's our five versus you. And once they let you isolate yourself to the point where you're playing individual basketball, they're not worried about what you can do. They've taken the other four players, put them on an island, and let you play one-on-one basketball. They're letting you work as hard as you can to get 2 points. They go down there and they move the ball, trust 5 players to get a basket. So now they're running your whole team around. You're getting tired running in circles, trying to keep up with them, and the points are not changing. The game is not changing. Everything is not in your favor right now. Things are going and spinning out of control, and you have no way of getting it back on track. These are the things I talk about when it comes to basketball. It's the X and O's of the game. How can you omit Tim Duncan and all of his accomplishments? It baffles me as I sit here and talk about basketball, how sportscasters can do that. Not one of them mentioned Tim Duncan's name when they mentioned the greatest players of all time. And look at what his accomplishments have already been. He wasn't a guy that was riding the team and someone else was carrying the load. He was the key. Without Tim Duncan, it didn't move. The Admiral David Robinson had never won an NBA championship, never been to an NBA finals until Tim Duncan arrived. He got David that ring. So tip my hat to Tim Duncan as one of the best players to do it. I'm out.